What's up YouTube? Today we're going to talk about meal prep for beginners. A lot of people out there want to lose some body fat and build muscle mass. And I'm going to help you step by step how to achieve that through nutrition today. You know what they say, abs are made in the kitchen, and there's a lot to that. You can run a marathon and be overweight, and you can be in lousy shape and have a six-pack. So just know that if you want to build muscle mass and you want to lose fat, you gotta take control over your nutrition. So I'm gonna do my best to help you with that today. Step number one is to get on top of macros and calories. Macros or macronutrients are what we have in front of us: protein, fat, and carbs. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite protein sources, carb sources, and fat sources that will help you to plan your diet and get on top of this whole thing. So first, let's talk about calories. I'm sure you heard that you need to be in calorie deficit to lose weight, and that is absolutely true. Regardless of how much you train or what your genetics look like, if you want to lose body fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So then you might ask yourself, why does the macros matter? Well, think about it. If you and I were on the same diet, we're on 1,500 calories a day, and I eat chicken, fish, whole grain rice, and a ton of vegetables, and you eat 1,500 calories of ice cream, who do you think is gonna keep their muscle mass, stay healthy, and live a long life? That's right. So when you dial in your macros, you can also overeat, which means that you're eating more calories than what you're spending in a day, and then you're gonna gain weight as well. So it's super important that you dial in both your calories and both your macros. How do I calculate how many calories I need a day? It depends a little bit. It depends on your activity level, genetics, if you're a man or woman, and your age. But roughly you wanna take your goal weight and multiply it with 12. And that will get you the number of calories that you should be eating per day. But please, don't quote me on that. It's individual, we're all different, but that's a good starting point. When it comes to macros, you wanna make sure to eat about 1 gram of protein per pound body weight in a day, or 2 grams of protein per kilo body weight in a day. So that will take us right into protein. So let's talk about protein. Protein is the building stones of muscle and tissue. I choose to bring up protein first because it's the most important macro. And why is it the most important macro? Well, protein is the only thing that cannot replace any of the other as fuel. Well, you see, protein is the only thing that you could survive on. And it's crucial for maintaining muscle or gaining muscle. It's also super important for skin and nails and hair. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite protein sources when eating healthy, building muscle, or losing fat. Chicken, I'm sure you've heard about chicken before. Chicken breast is the leanest option. It's packed with protein, got about 0.5 to 1.5% of fat, so it's super lean. If you choose chicken thigh, the fat goes up to 11%. It's still considered healthy, but just know that the difference between thigh and breast is about 10% of fat. Then we have salmon. Any fish will be a great source of protein, and even shellfish. I don't have shellfish here today, but shrimp, scallops, you name it. The great thing about fish as a protein source is that it's really packed with good omega-3s, which is exactly what your body wants. Eggs is another great protein source. It's very bioavailable, which means your body's ability to take it up and use it is very high. So this is one of the best protein sources out there. I also think that lean beef is a great option as a protein source. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to go and get any lean beef today, but it's definitely on the list as well. Another option is tofu, which is vegan. It's also packed with protein. Let's talk about carbs. If you want to really optimize, you want to pick a slow carb. The great thing about a complex or a slow carb is that they affect your blood sugar less than a fast carb. I'm going to show you some of my favorite carbs. Here we got a sweet potato, excellent choice of carbs. Potatoes, whole grain rice. This is a sprouted rice, but brown rice is also very healthy. Vasa crisp bread. Vasa crisp bread is another great choice. 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber, slow carb. Then we have lentils. Lentils is not a carb. Lentil is kind of a hybrid in between carbs and protein. So lentils is fairly high in protein, but it also contains some carbs. So this is what I call a hybrid, but very healthy for you. So what about fats? Well, good fat sources would be omega-3 that you get from fish. Nuts is an excellent source of fiber and fat, and avocado. We can throw in olive oil there as well. Both fat and carbs are important for you. Not only do they help you with recovery in your immune system, it's actually fuel for the body. So I know there's a lot of different diets out there, and some people love to do high protein, high fat, low carb diet. Some people love to eat more carbs and less fat. You got to figure out what works for you. I like to eat in moderation of everything, and just know that protein's the building stones of muscle and tissue. Fat and carbs are both fuel for the body. Let's not forget vegetables. Vegetables contains a lot of minerals, fibers, and a lot of good nutrients. So here's some of my favorite vegetables, but really you can eat any vegetables you want. And it doesn't matter that you heard that carrots contain sugar. Most things contain sugar. Don't worry about that. Just eat any vegetable you want. So what about these calories and macros? How do I design a meal out of this? So I'm going to show you a hack that I use. And I use it with my clients as well. You see, I'm not much for counting calories and macros unless I have to. There's a much more simple way where you can start, is that you want to use your fists. Because if you're a bigger person, your fists will be bigger. If you're smaller, they will be smaller. Yeah, you might have to make adjustments, but this is a really good starting point, and it's gonna set you on the right path. And after a week or two, you might want to make adjustments. You might want to up the protein or up the carbs. So let me show you what a lunch or a dinner would look like. I'm going to do 1 fist of protein, 1 fist of carbs or fat, or a combination of both, at least 2 fistfuls of vegetables. So basically, if I would pick something here, I would pick the salmon. This is about a fistful. I would pick this potato. I would pick half of this avocado. When you slice it up, it's actually much less. This is about a fist. And then you add as many vegetables as you want. And I know this doesn't look like the tastiest meal, but I wanted to show you what a portion could look like. So this is a great portion both for lunch and dinner. And some of you might think this is a lot, but when you eat clean, you'll be surprised how much more food you can eat. I also want to say that I always measure my food after it's cooked. So imagine this being cooked, it's going to be a little smaller. So what about breakfast? Well, I'm a big fan of high protein, low sugar in the mornings. So usually I will scramble 2-3 eggs. There's 6 grams of protein in an egg, so you can eat more eggs than you think. And I try to avoid drinking juice in the morning because juice contains a lot of sugar that will take your blood sugar on a roller coaster. So that's how I do it. Then you might want to eat a healthy snack in between lunch and dinner. And then I would also go for a high protein, low sugar snack. A good snack could be cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, a protein shake. They're all high in protein. If you want more inspiration on snacks, I got a couple of videos for you that you can check out. You might know that I have a training app with all my superhero programs. But did you also know that I have a nutrition guide? The guide includes healthy tips, grocery shopping lists, and daily eating plans. So what about fruit? Where does fruit come into the picture? Well, fruit is packed with nutrients and high in fiber. It's something you should try to eat at least once a day, I would say, but you can eat several fruits a day. Just know that this is a carb. It will count as a carb source. So if you eat more fruit, then you might want to eat a little less carbs. Just make sure that you get that balance right. When you look at this, you might think that, oh, this is too clean for me. This looks pretty bland. So let me show you a couple of my favorite sauces that contain very little sugar and no added sugar. So here we got 2 options that you could use when cooking. Check on the label of your marinara sauce or your tomato sauce. Make sure that there's no added sugar. When you look at the nutrition facts, there's always going to be some sugar. In this case, it's natural sugar and it's only 1 gram. And I would say avoid any product with added sugar. This is one of my favorites, taco sauce. I use that with my eggs in the morning and no sugar. So should I always be eating like this? No. Here's my philosophy. Out of 20 meals, make sure that 17 are on point or healthy or clean, whatever you want to call it. Enjoy life 3 meals out of 20. So I eat 5 meals a day, including snacks and breakfast. That means in 4 days, I will cover 20 meals. So 3 meals in 4 days. I can eat whatever I want, or I can slip up, whatever you want to call it. So out of 20 meals, make sure that 17 is on point and do whatever you want 3 out of 20. Obviously, you can't have 3 pizzas and 5 ice cream cones. That's just common sense. But there's no limits to the food you can eat when you have one of those treats. I don't call it cheat meals, I call it treat meals, because good food is a big part of life and we shouldn't make it into something bad. It's not cheating. If it's a good pizza, it's not cheating, is it? As I was saying before, with these portion sizes, listen to your body, make adjustments as you go along. It might be that you have to up the protein, fat, or carbs, or you might even be able to take it down a little bit. So listen to your body. The most important thing is stay patient and stay consistent. Think like this. If it took you 3 years to put on 30 pounds, you might want to allow yourself more than 2 weeks to take those 30 pounds off, right? So since this is a meal prep video, I am gonna add a grocery shopping list so you can see what you want to get next time you're at the grocery store. And yes, you don't have to get all these things. Get the food that you like. If you're a picky eater and you don't eat anything, you might want to toughen up and be a little more adventurous. Remember, these are my suggestions of good foods to get. You don't have to get all of them or exactly what's on this list. There's a ton of vegetables that you can add to a list that are really good for you. So I don't want to make this video too long, and I don't want you to have to watch this video every time you want a new recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a weekly meal prep plan below in the description so you can check it out and get some inspiration and get healthier. That's it, guys. I hope this video has been helpful, and I would love to hear your thoughts on what I just talked about, or maybe share your story on your weight loss journey or to a healthier life. Remember, we're all in this together. If you have any suggestions or meal prep advice, drop them in the comment below and let's do this.